Nicolay Bank is asking you to help them fight the freeze. Nicolay Bank is collecting cash donations and gift cards to go to Traverse City area schools for students in need. Bring your donation to either of the Nicolay Bank locations on Highway 31 West or on East State Street at the City Center. Or come to the TC West TC Central basketball game, February 14. Nicolay Bank has paid for all the tickets to the game, so you can bring a donation to fight the freeze instead of paying admission. Get all the details on how you can fight the freeze with Nicolay Bank in our hometown at upnorthsportsradio.com. 101.1 WGRY. It's time for the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show on Up North Sports Radio with your host, Rich Calkins.
It is time for the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Start your stress-free car shopping experience when you search Sarah Kalkaska and Sarah Gaylord. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. And JC, we had a battle for the Big North down in Cadillac last night with West in Cadillac. And right from the jump, Cadillac dominated the game and got the big 60-53 win.
Yeah, in retrospect, Rich, it's probably not a surprise at all. We were talking just before we got on the air. There was almost an exact inverse of what happened when Cadillac traveled to TC West earlier in the year, and West did whatever they really wanted to do, and Cadillac had, like you said yesterday, had 6 days to prepare, and their preparation was excellent.
It was, exactly. Yeah, Coach Benzenberg had a great game plan, feed the bigs down low, and it worked all night long because if they didn't get the bucket, they got the foul call. West got into foul trouble, and everything went Cadillac's way. They earned the calls they got. The calls went their way, but you earn sometimes the calls that you get because you go in with a game plan in the aggressiveness and things like that, and it almost dictates things go your way. And I tell you,
well, they learned from, I guarantee you they watched a crap ton of tape of the first game because, just from an X's and O's standpoint, their footwork was much better. Their side-to-side defensive movement was way faster and negated all the advantages that West had on the speed side of things. There was no straight line drives to the basket.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the game, really. When you boil it down to it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. They threw some zone in there at times. They did. They mixed it up. Yes, exactly. And it just was, and it was not allowing those slashing lanes and things to be available for West that they like to do, and so it slowed them down. They weren't able to hit shots early. They were able to hit some shots, got to within 3 at one point in the fourth, but they used all that energy to come from behind, and it just didn't have the legs then to get it over.
Yeah, defensively, they West was a step behind all night long. Basically, and you know this, I didn't really see much of the first game. I listened to it on my phone because I was busy, but Cadillac didn't have the opportunities in the first game like they had in the second game for whatever reason.
Right.
I don't know why they weren't as able to get the ball in low. I don't think they had that as part of their game plan in the first game.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it didn't seem that way.
Yeah.
It's so.
I mean, we can ask Coach.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be good
to see that the different how each game has its own personality.
Yeah.
And it definitely everything was. West dictated the pace in the first game, and things went their way, and the way they were able to get to the basket, and it did not happen in the second game. And how Cadillac didn't utilize their size in that first game, but definitely used it in the second game.
Yeah. And
so, it's just everything, develops its own personality. It's so that's what makes the game of basketball great.
Well, especially when you have, I don't know if these guys are rivals yet. I mean, they're in the league together. They're at the top end of the league. We know Cadillac's got a really good program and what Coach Bowman has did. You know, it'll be funny. We're going to play the interview here in just a minute, Rich. And I was watching your interview, and it seemed like even though Coach was answering the questions, he was already trying to figure out what went wrong and what he's going to have. Like, he knows in the back of his head that they're going to play each other again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because I just see him looking there. He's like, you know, he's answering the question, and he's like, well, let's just do that.
Yeah, Coach talked about, and Lincoln Lockhart, the player of the game, he talks about, he already knows where they potentially can match up in regionals. Yeah, so I love it. He was ready for it. Welcome to the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Michigan Trailers in Traverse City. Rich Caucus, along with head coach of Traverse City West, Doug Bauman, and Lincoln Lockhart. Coach, just a little too much height, a little too much second chance opportunities by Cadillac early in that contest. Just made it a little too tough to come back and get the win tonight.
It was all about execution tonight. You know, a completely different game than we played at our place. I thought we executed defense really well, we executed our offense, and both of those just struggled tonight. Second chance points were huge. We didn't get bodies on. Not having Brody Jones here really hurt us on that aspect. You know, he played really well against him the first time, and the first half we didn't make shots. You know, and we missed a couple layups there to start the third, and so instead of cutting it down to 7 points, it went to 13.
Right.
And that doesn't help when you're trying to fight back. But yeah, that was the name of the game, execution. I just thought that they came out, they played a little harder than we did overall. They got to loose balls, they kind of got to the rebounds, and a completely different game than we played them the first time.
For sure, Coach. The team never gave up, battled to within one possession in that fourth quarter, made a heck of a run at it, but just kind of ran out of gas then at the end as Cadillac was able to stretch it out to that 7-point win.
Yep, similar to the Grand Haven loss that we had, where we were kind of getting over that hump, and then, you know, a missed shot, a bad shot, a turnover, just kind of came back to bite us, and we couldn't get a stop at the other end. Gave up a lot of second chance points, you know, and then that third quarter hurt us. You know, that the foul differential in that third quarter was big. They were shooting a lot of free throws, but again, just execution-wise on our end, we weren't there.
Yeah. Coach, we don't have a long time to wallow in our sorrows at all, as we got 3 games next week, starting off Monday night, going down to Oriole country against Ludington.
Yep, it could be a good scrappy Ludington team. They always are. Come out with that press, but we'll give them a day off here tomorrow, get some rest, and come back Sunday, get a pregame in, and be ready to go. So a little hiccup in the road makes that conference path a little bit harder, but still our goal, and still very well within our grasp.
Yep, Big North always tends to come down to a couple of final games within the conference play, so definitely in the loss column we're tied up with 1 loss apiece, so we still got a lot of games in the Big North to play.
Yep, and some tough road games. You know, still have to go to Petoskey, which is never easy to do. We have Central at home, but again, these boys will bounce back, and this hits a little deeper for them, and we'll be ready to go. Like I said, a little speed bump, but maybe it's one of those games that you need to lose to kind of refocus and get back on. You don't like to lose them, but maybe that's what it's going to have to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, make the most of it.
That's
for
right.
Sure. All right, Coach. So I take it Lincoln is your Jimmy John's player of the game?
He is. I think they may have held him scoreless there in the first quarter, and then came out. We started running some different offensive sets that gave us looks, and he knocked down some big shots, got us back in the game, and like I said, just kind of turned that corner when we needed to, but showed up when we needed. Big game, big senior leadership, and everything we needed him to on that end. So
Fox Motors motivated player of the game. You know, we went back and forth a little bit. I think we're going to go with Carter Grubb once again. You know, it's one of those games. Could have given it to 2 or 3 different players, Coach, but that's what we ended up with. So he will get the Fox Motors motivated hoodie.
All right.
All right, Coach. Go West. I'll talk to Lincoln here for a moment, and we'll see you on Monday night.
Sounds good. If you guys want to call Sunday, I'll be available if you guys want to play a game. But otherwise, we can do it Monday.
Okay.
During the day too.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Coach. All right. You too. All right. Lincoln Lockhart joining us on the Coach's Corner here. Lincoln, you know, tough one as a senior. I know coming down here, I've been doing the broadcast for 4 years now. We did beat Cadillac down here in this gym then.
But again, a tough place to play, no doubt about it.
For sure, we knew that coming in that it's going to be a tough place. Whether it was the team or with the officials, but like Coach said, we really just didn't execute our plan. And a big thing that he says is who are we? And we didn't show who we were today, but I know we'll catch them March 4th in regionals when we play them in Gaylord, so I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yep, definitely those times when you get a chance to meet a team for the third time.
Yes, sir.
For the deciding championship belt there.
For sure.
So that's always fun for sure. But a lot of basketball to be played here. We got to take care of business, like I told Coach Ballman. We go down to Ludington, a non-conference affair. Then we welcome in Alpena on Thursday night. They bring Big Country into the courtside there.
Yep.
And then, of course, Wayne Memorial next Saturday. So a lot of entertaining basketball.
For sure. That Wayne Memorial game, that's a top 10 team right there. So that's another bounce-back opportunity that we can get, to put our name back up, as we head into playoffs for sure.
Yeah, sounds good, Lincoln. Good attitude. Looking forward to Monday night's game. We'll see you down there, bud.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Congratulations on the player of the game.
Thank you.
And there was Coach Doug Ballman and Lincoln Lockhart, senior leader on the team, after the game. So
yeah, it was kind of weird. Like I said, Rich, part of me, you don't go into a game, especially a team as good as West, expecting to lose. But they were kind of resigned to it. I mean, in the interview, I'm not saying they weren't disappointed and they weren't trying to win. But it seemed like they weren't surprised. Like, that Coach Bauman was going to get a better game. Bauman knew that Cadillac was going to play better than they did in the first game.
Absolutely.
And I think that how the game played out, and he's still coaching to win, and they, like you said, they got to within 3 points. It just seemed like they were going to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's look, when two good teams match up, there's a chance you're going to come out on the short end of that game. And West had won 12 in a row.
Yep.
And sometimes you need a little wake-up call here or there.
Well, styles make fights.
Yes.
And the style of the first game was played exactly the way West wanted to play, and this game was played exactly the way Cadillac wants to play. So,
each team defended home court. Mm-hmm. If they're fortunate enough to match up later in the season, it would be in a regional game. It would be at a neutral site, and may the best team win.
Well, there's a lot of basketball to be played then, and in both the Cadillac and the West have their eyes on the conference championship. That's what James Cook pointed out in the paper today, and Coach Benzenberg now that's going to be the focus. Let's play our best every game leading up to the end of the season, and Central's still lurking there. They had a big win.
They did have a big triple overtime win. That was a wild one up in Petoskey for sure. And so definitely interesting.
Lots of basketball left to be played.
Yeah, no doubt about it, JC. So they don't, like I mentioned in the interview, they go on the road to Ludington on Monday, take on a solid team, Division II team in the Orioles, and then at home on Thursday night against Alpena with Big Country coming to town. And then Saturday at Traverse City St. Francis for the showcase, taking on a very good, very talented Wayne Memorial team.
Yeah, we can't wait for that.
Going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, in a few moments, we'll have the head coach of Cadillac, Ryan Benzenberg, on the phone and talk about things from his point of view, as things went really well for them all night long. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Hi folks, Jim Jeffries for Michigan Trailers in Traverse City, Northern Michigan's volume-leading utility trailer dealer. We have over 200 trailers in stock from America's top brands, including SureTrack, Impact, Cargomax, and now offering AirTow. All clearly marked at volume value pricing. Add to that full service, parts, plus accessories, and Michigan Trailers can solve all your hauling needs. See us today on US 31 South across from Menards, Traverse City, or visit us online at michigantrailers.com.
Have you stopped by Sarah Automotive in Gaylord or Kalkaska lately? If not, you're missing out on the lowest lease payments of the year on many of your favorite Ford vehicles. And at Sarah Gaylord and Kalkaska, besides a great selection of new Fords, you'll find pre-owned inventory stocked with certified Fords and a wide array of trucks and SUVs in every price range. Visit Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska for sales, service, parts, or just a friendly conversation. They'll be delighted to help you. They guarantee it.
The Traverse City Record Eagle supports WCMU Public Radio in Traverse City with Total Access Record Eagle subscriptions. Total Access means home delivery of the printed paper, plus on-demand access to local and breaking news and other community publications online or on the app. Find out more at record-eagle.com/subscriptions or call 231-946-2187. That's 231-946-2187. The Traverse City Record Eagle proudly serves 13 counties in northwestern Lower Michigan.
If you're worried about the cost of continuing your education or where your talents lie, the Michigan Army National Guard has most of the answers. Your participation in a few yearly training exercises will make you stronger and part of a patriotic team. You will also receive up to $50,000 in scholarships towards your education, including training and placement in exciting tech and medical fields. Build your future and support your country. Apply to miarmyguard.com. That's miarmyguard.com.
Hey, it's Anthony Bellino from Spin on Sports, Michigan Sports Dog Morning Show on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 right here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Whether it's Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, Michigan State, the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, all the headlines, all the stories, and always Michigan teams first. It's all right here on Spin on Sports, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard locally on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And joining us now is the head coach of the Cadillac Vikings, Ryan Benzenberg. And Ryan, I tell you, you had a great game plan last night, and the team executed perfectly, and you came out with a huge win against West.
Hey guys, morning. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the kind words. I agree with you. I think our kids played really, really hard and executed the game plan. And we knew it was the game we had to have, right? West got us the first time, and if we had any notion of trying to keep the Big North championship in Cadillac, we had to get the win, and I was happy to get out of there with it because the fourth quarter got a little shaky. Lincoln got going a little bit, and West played really good in the fourth quarter, but we made some plays late. Yeah, Coach,
Big Kyle McGowan down low just ate West up all night long and had a career high of 28 points.
He did. He had a great game, particularly in the first quarter. The way West plays man-to-man, they do a lot of switching, so we were able to get some switches in our early offense and then be able to exploit that a little bit. And that was kind of our game plan going in. He had 12 in the first quarter and kind of coasted from there. And honestly, he had 28. He could have had 35. He missed 7 free throws, and a lot of that was some fatigue. He played more minutes than we typically would have him, but just really proud of him. I thought his effort overall was tremendous, and we were able to control the glass, and he was a big reason why.
Coach, Rich and I were talking in the last segment that, styles make fights, and West got to be able to execute the way they wanted to in the first game, and you got to play more of a style of basketball. How much did you change the game plan from game one to last night?
So I'll be real transparent with you. I give West a lot of credit. When we were prepping for the first time we played them, I made a comment in our film session that if we keep them off the three-point line, I don't know that they can score enough points in the paint to beat us. And they did exactly that. They had 42 points in the paint last time we played them. And I was just really disappointed with the way we guarded the ball in the first game. Lincoln and Lincoln Lockhart, Mason Zimmerman both had 20 in that first game, and they got to the paint and finished over our length. And we spent all week really prepping on not only not giving up three-point shots, but really guarding our man and keeping them out of the paint. We just made it a lot tougher for them this time around, and I think our kids were a little bit more hungry, right? We got punched in the mouth when we played them a little bit, and we came in with an edge that we did not have the first time we played them.
Yeah, you definitely moved your feet better. I mean, some things effort can take care of as opposed to X's and O's, and you guys didn't switch as much. It was just a much – you were way better prepared to play them last night than you were in the first matchup.
I would totally agree with you, and I credit our kids for that. And, I'll take some of the blame in that first game. Maybe myself and my staff didn't have us the best game plan in mind and didn't have them prepared as much. But the credit needs to go to our kids. We were dialed in. We played 2 tough games. We had both Traverse Cities this week, and after our game Monday, we were dialed in. Our kids knew, and we had a different practice vibe. Everything was different after our game at Central Monday, because I think our kids, our seniors, know that it was a big game. And I say it every year, the closer that we get to the end of the season, the light at the end of the tunnel gets bigger and bigger, and our seniors, every year you see it, and you can't explain it until you see the kids go through it, and you can see when they're like, oh dang, this thing's about to be over in the next couple weeks, in a month. We got to make sure we're dialed in, and our kids, hopefully we can continue that.
Yeah. Now, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually you play man-to-man and all that, but at times it looked like you were in a zone.
Yeah, so we have a little 3-2 zone that we're playing with a little bit. I'll be real honest with you. I'm not in love with it just yet, but it's something that we're playing with. It's something to give a little bit of a mix-up. And honestly, like teams like Traverse City West, we have size and beef and girth, but when we play teams with lots of guards, our personnel doesn't always match up great against that. So we're playing with some ideas to, you know, when March rolls around and we play some teams that we're not super familiar with that may be a little bit more athletic than us, to be able to mix that in. We're going to play man-to-man. That's what we do. It's a toughness thing for us. But to be able to play with something like that, and it's a work in progress. We're nowhere near feel like my assistant coach wanted to run it with about 5 to go last night, and I was like, absolutely not. We're not in a position. I did not feel good enough about it yet to run it, but that's something that we're playing with for sure.
Yeah, and Coach, it always, I mean, to me, when you can throw teams a curveball like that and you go into that zone in and out of it here and there, I think it just makes the team that much harder to prepare for.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If a team's got to spend even 5 or 6 minutes in practice to talk about it, gives a team a different look. And if we get a stop or two, that's 2 possessions that we gained by not allowing them to score. So we're going to continue to play with it and mess with it a little bit, and hopefully by the time March rolls around, we'll feel good enough to play it a little more if we need to.
Well, as a stopper way back in the 70s, Coach, I have been preaching for the last 2 years to all our coach interviews that you got to play some zone. You have to. I don't even care if it's not effective. Like you just said, if you have to prepare for it, and you want to shake the game up a little bit, that's the best way to, unless you're going to just go full court press.
I think anytime you can mix it up, Jared, like just to make another team have to think about it. And if it takes them 40 seconds to identify it and then get into some other offense, like it slows the game down and it gets it to a pace. Like if we're looking to push pace, we'll get up and play some full court stuff. If we're looking to slow the pace down, we might throw that in just so teams have to identify it. Or maybe they don't identify it and they throw up a crummy shot because they're running some man set against our zone. So I agree with you. And I will say this, this is my 21st year coaching high school basketball, my 11th in Cadillac. The overall skill level of Northern Michigan basketball from where it was when I started to where it is now, like, they're just better.
Yeah.
They're working harder to get better. Mm-hmm. The balance of talent, the distance from Detroit and Grand Rapids North used to be so much wider, and the kids up here in Northern Michigan are closing that gap. So to be able to expect kids to guard the ball for 32 minutes it's highly unlikely. So I agree with you. Playing some zone is going to be mandatory for most teams.
Coach, obviously we don't get a chance to see you every week, but it's especially from the first match up to the second, Kyle McGowan played like a man possessed. I don't know if he wasn't feeling right or he didn't get the ball where he wanted to, but he was going to the hole with authority, and probably obviously the biggest difference in the game.
Yeah, I attribute it to a couple things. First thing, that was early in the year. That was December 12th, so we were still trying to figure out roles with the departure of Charlie Howell.
Sure. Right.
So that's probably some of it. Some of it is the end is near and he knows it and he's a senior. Some of it is he committed to play football at Northern a week ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
That stress of, do I play football, do I play basketball, where I'm going, like that was weighing on him a lot, and I think maybe some of that. So I think there's a bunch of little tiny contributors to that, but I agree with you. Even at Central, he was really, really good too. So if we can continue to get that, I like where we're headed.
Yeah, for sure, Coach. And looking at your schedule, you have a schedule similar to West. You've got 3 games next week, Coach. You go on the road to DeWitt, home against Petoskey, and then, of course, you're playing in the showcase against Canton on Saturday.
Yeah, guys, we actually talked about this as a staff leading up to this upcoming week. We're gonna treat this week very similar to like we would a district week, right? You play, practice, play, practice. It will be a very good mental exercise for our guys, not necessarily physically, but mentally to, all right, prep for this game, play, and then we got to be dialed into prep because we only get a one-day prep to play. It'll be a really good practice session for our kids to get ready for when it really counts in March.
Well, yeah, 3 games. You know, you probably like that, Coach. More games, the better, right? And your players too.
Oh, players love that.
Like, you know, I'm sick of practice. Let's get out there and play.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. We're in the dog days, right? Like, practices. We're 15 on the court, sweat, and we're done. Like, I'm giving our kids tomorrow off. Typically, we don't always practice on Sundays, but if we have a big game or a team that we know that we need some prep for. Look, DeWitt's a really good team. Their record's not great, but they play a bunch of really good schools. I follow them very closely, so we're going to be in for it. But in the grand scheme of things, I think a day off of rest is more important than getting ready for a non-conference game. That in the grand scheme of things, I mean, yes, we want to win every game, but we also want to make sure we're healthy. We got some sickness that we're dealing with, so I agree with you. Games and less practice this time of year is the ticket, in my opinion.
Yeah, plus, there's a lot of good college basketball on, so just have them cool out.
Yeah, Coach, you brought it up just a little bit. You know, early in the season, you're still trying to figure things out without Charlie Howell. You know, when you have a 6'6" all-stater down low that can do everything for you, and he was such a great Cadillac Viking. Is this team now developing their own personality now? And I think maybe last night that game could go a long ways into having their own personality.
I would agree 100% with that. We really struggled to score the ball early, and we made a lineup change, 5 games ago, and we moved Bailey Wade out of the starting lineup and moved our freshman Dominic Wing in.
I noticed that, yes.
And in those 5 games, Dominic, the freshman, is averaging like 10.5 points a game, where before that he was at 4. So even just 6 points a game seems to have helped us. Like, we're getting to that high 50s, low 60s mark. We feel like defensively we're going to win a lot of games if we can score 60, because we know we can defend and keep teams 55 or less, 50 or less. We'll feel really good about that. Early in the year, we struggled to put it in the hoop. And by bringing Bailey off the bench, it just gives us so much more rotation options than we had earlier. So that was probably something we should have done a little bit earlier, but we wanted to make sure Dom was ready from a physical standpoint as a freshman, and he's really done a nice job for us.
Oh, Coach, I was impressed with him. He does not look like a freshman, and at 6'6", he's not afraid to shoot the 3 either. The kid's got confidence.
No, he really does. He's played a lot of high-level AAU basketball growing up, and he's very comfortable. Our seniors have done a great job of kind of bringing him along and getting into him when he needs to, but also putting their arm around him when he needs that as well. So he's fitting right in. He's going to be a real good one. We're excited to have him. And, you know, I need to take 2 seconds and just say Bailey Wade, the kid who is a 3-year player for me that is now coming off the bench as a senior, very often you see that happen with kids, and it could go the other way, right? Where kids get frustrated and they become a answer, so to speak, to a team. And Bailey Wade, to his credit, is the opposite. He has been an awesome teammate, does everything we ask him to do, and has been super supportive in the whole change, and nothing has changed from his demeanor, his play, and that's just an attribute of what kind of kid he is as well.
Amen, Coach.
Coach, there's a reason why they have a 6-man award in the NBA.
Yeah, no kidding. Exactly right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But that is a tough role, Coach. A kid that's played 3 years of varsity ball, go into his senior year, he's expecting big things of himself and all that, and you kind of have a hotshot freshman coming up through the rank and file. That kind of can hurt the ego, and for him to put his feelings aside for the good of the team, man, I tell you what, that does say a ton about him.
You're darn right it does, and that's his whole family. His brother's a kid that played for me. That whole family is first class, and I'm not surprised by it, but I feel like it's necessary that he gets some recognition for the way he's handled it as well.
Well, Ryan, congratulations on the win. You and West in the loss column are all tied up at 1 loss apiece. Continued success, and we'll see you along the way and have you back on here in a couple of weeks.
Guys, thanks for having me on. As always, thanks for everything you do for us.
All right, you
All right, Coach, best of luck. We'll see you.
We'll
see you at the showcase on Saturday. So.
All right, looking forward to seeing you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Ryan Benzenberg of the Cadillac Vikings with a huge win. But, always good to talk to Ryan. He's does a great job with that team, and how he just continues to produce 6'6", 6'8" guys coming up through the rank and file, JC. It is
recruiting. They recruit.
It is quite incredible the size that they continue to pump out at one of the smallest schools in the Big North. You know, that it's wild. I mean, just absolutely wild. I think they are the smallest school in the Big North.
But they are one student into Division.
One student too many to get into. Yeah, just think if they were Division II this year.
Yeah.
So, all right, when we come back, we're going to have Sean Finnegan of Traverse City St. Francis joining us. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
The Traverse City Record Eagle supports WCMU Public Radio in Traverse City with Total Access Record Eagle subscriptions. Total Access means home delivery of the printed paper, plus on-demand access to local and breaking news and other community publications online or on the app. Find out more at record-eagle.com/subscriptions or call 231-946-2187. That's 231-946-2187. The Traverse City Record Eagle proudly serves 13 counties in northwestern Lower Michigan.
Have you stopped by Sarah Automotive in Gaylord or Kalkaska lately? If not, you're missing out on the lowest lease payments of the year on many of your favorite Ford vehicles. And at Sarah Gaylord and Kalkaska, besides a great selection of new Fords, you'll find pre-owned inventory stocked with certified Fords and a wide array of trucks and SUVs in every price range. Visit Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska for sales, service, parts, or just a friendly conversation. They'll be delighted to help you. They guarantee it.
If you're worried about the cost of continuing your education or where your talents lie, the Michigan Army National Guard has most of the answers. Your participation in a few yearly training exercises will make you stronger and part of a patriotic team. You will also receive up to $50,000 in scholarships towards your education, including training and placement in exciting tech and medical fields. Build your future and support your country. Apply to miarmyguard.com. That's miarmyguard.com.
Shopping can be fun, unless you're shopping for insurance. Trying to compare policies can be confusing. Cornell Agency wants to be your personal insurance shopper. Auto, home, life, and recreational vehicles, health, Medicare, and even business. They handle it all. Cornell works with multiple insurance companies, so you know their rates will always be competitive, friendly, knowledgeable, and there when you need them. Give Cornell Agency a call at 989-348-6761. That's 989-348-6761.
Saturday, April 5th, Soaring Eagle Casino becomes Daryl's house. Don't miss a legend live, Daryl Hall, with special guest Glenn Tilbrook of Squeeze. Tickets start at $62 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. Make your favorite Sarah smile. Daryl Hall with Glenn Tilbrook, Saturday, April 5th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
It's time for the Michigan Army National Guard Hoops and Scoops High School Sports Show. Your future is waiting for you at miarmyguard.com. Michigan Army National Guard, always ready, always there.
Hi, this is Staff Sergeant Travis Shuttler with the Michigan Army National Guard, recruiter for the Grand Traverse area. The Michigan Army National Guard Student Athlete of the Week is Isaac Kerr from Traverse City St. Francis. Congratulations, Isaac. I'll be dropping by with some National Guard swag. And don't forget, visit miarmyguard.com to set your career in motion.
This has been the Hoops and Scoops High School Sports Show, presented by the Michigan Army National Guard. Your future is waiting for you at miarmyguard.com. Michigan Army National Guard, always ready, always there.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne in studio with you, and Coach Sean Finnegan of Traverse City St. Francis joining us now. Coach, you just heard the announcement made there by the Michigan Army National Guard with Isaac Kerr as the Student Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to him and to you, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate that. couldn't ask for it to come to a better kid who certainly deserves the recognition. So thank you for that.
Yeah, Coach, we've partnered with the Michigan Army National Guard, and they're doing this, and we think it's a great thing. We've been doing it for about 3 weeks now, and really getting some kids around northern Michigan the recognition they deserve.
That's absolutely true. I couldn't be happier to hear you guys doing this. Any opportunity to bring more recognition to some of our northern Michigan kids and put a spotlight on their hard work and their effort, that's great.
Coach, you had a nice win last night. Talk about the game versus Manistee.
Well, you got part of that right, Jerry. I'd say it was a win. I don't know if it was a nice win. It was ugly, but we've been trying very hard, talking a lot this year about getting better at the biggest aspect of the game that we've been struggling with throughout the year, and that's finishing games, closing out games, not throwing away leads in the last couple minutes, which we've had 3-4 games that we've done that this year. So yeah. It was good to see us finish, and to do it really in back-to-back nights between Tuesday and Friday, back-to-back games anyway. And the boys are getting better. We're inching ourselves closer to resembling a basketball team. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, Sean, I was looking at your schedule here, and you do have, not to put salt in the wound, you do have a lot of close losses there, 3 or 4 1-point losses. And like you said, though, when the kids are able to figure it out, how to get over that and secure some of these wins, you're going to be really dangerous towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I think, and that's definitely our goal. That's been our message this year. We had early on, especially, we had a couple tough ones, and we just told them, listen, you guys are doing so many things well, so many things right, and the biggest thing is our effort has been there. This group, I can't applaud them enough. They've stayed bought in every day of practice, every game. The effort's there. That they haven't turned on us or turned on each other, which in seasons like this, it can happen.
Right.
You get frustrated, and I just said, there's one aspect of the game, just like rebounding, playing defense, offense, knocking out shots. There's all these different aspects, and one of them is closing out and finishing and getting used to, not letting the pressure and intensify your actions and force you to do things that you hadn't done all game. And we just have to get better at that. And we've spent a lot of time in practice working on situations, end of game stuff, end of quarter stuff, and putting them through a lot more of those situations so that we can, hopefully become more comfortable under pressure in those times. And, so far, like I said, the last couple of games, we're starting to see some growth there. So it's exciting. Yeah,
and Coach, you guys too, you guys absolutely schedule tough opponents. I mean, looking at the schedule, you play a Marquette, a very good Marquette team the night before the showcase. So that's a real interesting matchup. Of course, you play Hamtramck in the showcase. You play highly rated Glen Lake coming up, and then you finish off the regular season with highly ranked McBain as well, Coach. So, again, these kids are going up against some of the best kids around northern Michigan.
Yeah, and that's spot on to kind of another message we've been saying is, we didn't make it easy for them this year. When I put this schedule together last year, I knew how some of these teams would be, and being independent, you have to go find all 22 games.
Yeah.
And I probably could have been, hindsight, we'll learn from this as coaches too. Maybe there's a couple games I could swap out for a couple different opponents to create some positive feel every once in a while. But like I keep telling the boys, this is only making us better. It's only making us tougher. And really, not being a part of a league, the only record that matters for us is what we have in March. So everything is preparation for that, and that's where our mind's been at. And and also too, with the way ratings go in high school with the MPR, it recognizes strength of schedule. And I told the boys, I say, before our win against Big Rapids Tuesday, I said, even with a 4-9 record, we're only a couple decimal points behind second and third ranking in our district, which has Glen Lake, Benzie, Elk Rapids, and the Academy. It's like, there's some good teams in there that have better records than us, but I said we win a game or two, you're going to see our numbers spike because of the opponents we played. And this week was a prime example. We're up to third place in it now, and we're sniffing at Elk Rapids' heels for that second place spot. So not that all matters that much, but it's just a reminder, another way to kind of show them that it's recognized that you guys are playing a very tough schedule, and it's only making us better. So just stay bought in, stay engaged. We're close.
Yeah, I like that, Coach. One of the good things that the Michigan High School Athletic Association has done, both in football and basketball, is starting to seed these districts so they're just not randomly doing things. You get rewarded for playing tough schedules and getting wins during the regular season.
Yeah, I've pushed hard with the MHSAA the last couple of years. We didn't do anything this past year, but I'm on a committee. We've been trying to get it to seed all the way through the regionals. Because most areas around the state, you can pull that off with 24 teams and seed 1 through 24 and have districts be completely seeded, regional seeded, so that essentially the 4 best teams out of the 24-team region would see each other in a regional.
Right.
Rather than having 3 or 4 teams in a district dogfight, and then those are probably 4 of the best teams in the whole quarterfinal even.
Yeah.
And only one of them makes it out of a district. So They haven't quite given us all of that yet, but they've at least got it to where we're seeding districts now, which is definitely a step in the right direction. Because what other sport do you play, 22 games or so, and then it means nothing for the playoffs? How is that possible?
Right.
And then it comes down to picking straws. That's always been goofy to me, and I'm glad we're starting to see leadership go in the direction of recognizing the work you put in for those 3 months or so leading up to the playoffs.
Historically, you've seen that where 2 really good teams end up playing each other in the first game out of districts.
Yeah.
And, in a team that had 3 losses all year long, it loses the first game in the tournament. And, it's not good work there, Coach. You just get them to move. Tell us a little bit about your game coming up with Marquette. They've got a great season going on. Max Preps has them ranked 17th overall.
We're looking forward to that matchup. Obviously, we've got Gaylord on Tuesday over there beforehand, but hopefully they're not listening. I don't need bulletin board material, but I like our opportunity against Marquette. This year we've struggled probably the most when we're playing against older, physical, strong guard play. We've matched up pretty good, and we have pretty good size and athleticism inside, and that's their strength. They've got the 6'7" kid who's going to Tech next year for basketball, and a couple other good lengthy athletes. I think we have a chance to match up pretty well in that game, and obviously we get it on our home floor, which always helps. But I like our matchup there. It's going to be an uphill battle. We know that, and it's. I'm not saying we're going in thinking that we're the favorite. I know we're not, but I think that's a game we can definitely compete in, match up well, and give ourselves a real shot.
And they got Cass Tech the next night.
Yeah.
You didn't do him any favors.
Did ourselves any favors with that, or I didn't do anyone any favors.
Right.
I should say.
I was going to say, Coach, that's a little sneaky, I think.
Yeah, you know what? They wanted to come down here and get 2 good games, and I tried to find them someone else because I'd rather not play Friday night before, but I couldn't find them anybody, so I said, well, shoot, we'll play it. Why not?
No, that's great. Hey, you're covering the whole state of Michigan by having Marquette to the far north and Cass Tech down to the southeast, Coach. So it's a great geographical matchup too.
Yeah, and that was actually something Coach Hall from Cass Tech was very intrigued about. Is unless it's in a state semi or a final, when else would you see a Detroit team play Marquette? That's
exactly.
Or unless Marquette's going to take a Christmas break trip down to Detroit for a showcase down there or something, you just don't see that. So that was a unique opportunity, and Marquette obviously having a good team this year. We knew it'd be a unique matchup that way too, and we're excited about kind of stretching the state on that one.
Yeah, you don't see Marquette at St. Cecilia every summer.
No, you don't.
No, sure. I bet not. I bet not.
Yeah. Now, talk about the showcase just a little bit coming up next Saturday. Games get started at noon, Coach?
Yep, first game's at noon, and that's going to be, like you said, local Glen Lake against Walled Lake Western. The second game at 1:45, so we go an hour 45 time slots for each of them. And then we've got Canton from down Detroit area coming up to play Cadillac. Third game is TC West playing Wayne Memorial, who, I go through this list, and all these teams are ranked in the top 30, 40 teams in the state right now.
Agreed.
Wayne Memorial's having a great year, and I said that from the summer. That their studs that have been starting since freshmen are still only juniors, but it's their third year at a Class A school being starters, and they're getting D1 looks. And Game 4 will feature, like you said, Marquette and Cas Tech, and then ourselves versus Hamtramck at the end. 8 of those 10 schools are Division I, with the exception of us and Glen Lake. So if you're just, whether you care about any team on that list or not, if you're just a neutral basketball fan and you're looking for something to do, $10 for a full day of 5 games like that of teams you're not going to get to see up here on a regular basis. It should be a fun day. It should be a real fun day.
All right, now, Coach, the most important question: have you solidified the food situation?
Well, we'll have pizza there, Jerry.
I know you'll have the pizza.
I think we might as well be sponsored by a pizza joint on our floor or something. But we will have Jimmy John subs as well, and that seemed to go over real well last year. If anyone listening has a food truck and wants to sit in the lot, I'm open ears on that. So I know a lot of companies shut those down for the winter. So if there's another one that's looking to sit out in the parking lot and make a few dollars, I think we could make something work.
Maybe I'll make a huge pot of chicken chili and just distribute it.
Real captive. You got a captive audience right there. A lot of people in and out throughout the day for sure, Coach.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, Coach. We'll look forward to seeing you next Saturday as soon as we get off the air here. So, good luck till then. Stay healthy.
Appreciate that, and thank you guys for everything you do, and looking forward to seeing you guys next weekend.
Yeah, and give our personal kudos to Isaac. So, well done. He's going to get a really cool backpack and some other stuff from the Michigan Army National Guard.
Well, that's great to hear. I'll let him know, and we'll keep working hard.
All right, that sounds good. Sean Finnegan from Traverse City, St. Francis. See you next Saturday.
All right, there you go.
All right, very good. All right,
we'll see. Coaches has put a pretty big uphill climb on this team.
Oh, for sure.
And hopefully, I was going to start talking to him about the Izzo plan on playing the hardest non-conference schedule you can, and he pointed out obviously he doesn't have a conference, so as a Class 2 school, maybe it looks appealing, although pretty much everybody in the state knows what kind of kids and athletes you get at Traverse City St. Francis. But it's probably not so scary for a D1 school to go ahead. Yeah, we'll take St. Francis on the schedule.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
And vice versa, hard for them to schedule a D2 team. Because they got kicked out of a conference for a reason.
Right. That's exactly right. Because they dominated it each and every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So kudos to him, man, lining up some of the big boys along the way.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play Gaylord, which was, an old conference foe of theirs, and we'll see how that all works out. But he wants to be ready for March, and
yeah, they will be ready.
They will be.
That's exactly right. When we come back, we're going to talk to Dan Brandt from the Grayling Vikings girls coach. They're having a good season. So we'll have more in a moment. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Have you stopped by Sarah Automotive in Gaylord or Kalkaska lately? If not, you're missing out on the lowest lease payments of the year on many of your favorite Ford vehicles. And at Sarah Gaylord and Kalkaska, besides a great selection of new Fords, you'll find pre-owned inventory stocked with certified Fords and a wide array of trucks and SUVs in every price range. Visit Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska for sales, service, parts, or just a friendly conversation. They'll be delighted to help you. They guarantee it.
Pioneer Hills Marine in Roscommon is hiring entry-level service technicians. If you have basic technical ability and are looking for seasonal or part-time work, this job is for you. We offer on-the-job training, competitive wages, and a culture dedicated to our staff and customers. Entry-level service technicians. If interested, you can apply in person or visit pioneerhillsmarine.com. pioneerhillsmarine.com. Pioneer Hills Marine is an equal opportunity employer.
Here in northern Michigan, Woodhaven Log and Lumber has all the log siding, knotty pine paneling, and custom wood products to make your home the gorgeous up north refuge that you deserve. Woodhaven Log and Lumber is family owned and operated right in Mayo, and they make each order custom to your exact needs and budget. See what your dream home can look like at woodhavenlog.com. Dare to have the home you've always wanted. woodhavenlog.com.
There's a new player in town. Hi, I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking about Eagle Casino and Sports, the real money mobile casino. It's so easy to play. You can go from wager to winner to wallet, just like that.
Sign up now and we'll match your deposit up to $1,500. Or you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older in Michigan to play.
Tune in to Up North Sports Radio every Friday between 8 and 9 a.m. and then again at 5 and 6 p.m. for the Cross Country Ski Report. Brought to you by Hanson Hills, Old Lake Road in Grayling, and online at hansonhills.org. 101.1 WGRY, Up North Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And we're going to get a hold of Dan Brandt here in just a moment here, but we thought we'd go over some of the scores from last night throughout northern Michigan. And in the Big North, Alpena got a win against Gaylord. That's their first conference win. And Dan Brandt's giving me the thumbs up now, so we'll be calling Dan in just a moment. As we talked about, how about Mansalona got a huge win in the Ski Valleys. They went to Gaylord St. Mary's.
Yeah, I saw that.
And beat them 49-40.
That's a big rivalry in basketball.
Yeah, that's a good win for them for sure.
It's still going to his voicemail.
Okay. So, we're going to continue on here.
Brother Rice won.
Yeah, all right. Talk about that.
They beat Toledo Jesuit. They're the number 2 team in the state. Keeping pace with the University of Detroit Jesuit, who also beat Detroit Catholic Central. So UAD is undefeated. They're the number 1 ranked team in the state. They have to play Brother Rice and Orchard Lake St. Mary's coming up. So I might want to get a ticket and go down to the Catholic League playoffs this year. I think that there's going to be some really good basketball.
Yeah, that absolutely. Well, I mean, it's great every year, but especially this year. It's just crazy how tough that is, JC. Some other scores around the north. In the North Star League, Hillman in boys basketball, Hillman beat All Gray Sims 53-45. In the Highland Conference, Pine River beat Holton Lake, dominated them 67-27. McBain, they continue to roll in the Highland Conference as they beat Manton 78-43.
Yeah, McBain's got a good year going on.
They do. They only one loss. So Dan Brandt's going to shut it off and turn it back on there so it stops going to those voicemails.
Yeah, there's something going on. You know, technology and coaching often does not go together. Yeah, there was, it was a light schedule for the boys yesterday, as we've noted a few times, Rich. Not always playing on Fridays in the traditional Tuesday, Friday schedule. We're seeing a lot of games being played on Thursdays and obviously Saturdays.
They are, exactly. I mean, every day. I mean, I've had games every day of the week this year. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, we're paying you too much money.
That's probably true, but I didn't want to bring that up to you. But there's a couple of girls' scores I wanted to make note of. Harbor Springs, they continue to roll. That's a very good team up there. They won 48-30 over a good Elk Rapids ladies team. Boyne City, they dominated Kalkaska 58-16 in girls basketball. Glen Lake, they both boys and girls very good this year. Glen Lake girls team won 66-41 over Benzie Central. And Midland beat Mount Pleasant 49-41. As we continue to effort Dan Brandt from the Grayling girls here, as they did play Sheboygan last night. Grayling is having a really good season. They did take it on the chin, 45-37 last night. It'll be interesting.
Hi, Coach. Hold on.
Yep, we're going to get Dan Brandt here right now. All right, Dan.
Hold on. There you go.
Hey, Dan, welcome to the show. Appreciate you joining us here. You guys are having a really good season, but had a tough one last night against Sheboygan. Talk about that game a little bit.
Yeah, it was a tough game. We started off a little bit slow. We were without one of our starting forwards, Callie DeMore. She got banged up in our Charlevoix game. She's a double kid every game.
Right.
So that definitely hurts to not have her out there. But the girls battled. They were down 13 at half. They came out strong and fired up in the third quarter. We won the second half, outscoring them 27-22. Just couldn't close that gap from the first half. But they continue to battle and continue to fight. So.
Yeah, and Coach, it's always tough when one of your key players goes out, and Callie's one of your players that has some height on her, so you lose those rebounds and effort, things like that. That's always a tough adjustment.
It definitely is. I mean, Cal is just an absolute competitor. She all season long, she just stepped up in some different roles. I had my point guard banged up the previous game versus Boyne. Callie had to step up, going from her normal, wing spot to running that point, and she did a phenomenal job. Still dropping 24 points, as well as grabbing 14 boards and finding the assist on that game as well.
It's a game.
Yeah, that'll work. Those numbers work real well, Coach.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, talk about the Northern Shores Conference in girls basketball. Super tough. I mean, you guys are having a really good season at 9-5 overall. But when you have the likes of Harbor Springs at 8-0 and Kingsley at 5-2, Boyne at 5-3, you've got some really good competition.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough conference. Everyone's got to battle tested by the end of it. Harbor's obviously got a great squad. Boyne is full of just absolute athletes. Kingsley's a tough team. And then we battle hard too, and it doesn't matter who you're playing each night. They're going to give you everything they got, and it's always a battle. Yeah, Dan, this is the first time we've had you on this year. Talk about this team. Talk about some of the things that some of the girls that have really stood out to you and doing well, and what are some things as a team aspect you want to improve upon as you move towards districts? A lot of the girls have stepped up. A lot of new girls to varsity this year. I returned 4 who have some playing experience, 6 moving up. I brought up a freshman in Riley Wheeler who's, really starting to grow and make a lot of growth. Molly Montgomery came up. She dropped 14 last night.
Wow.
She's gonna be something going forward for us. These girls are they play for each other. They embody our idea of family, and they just leave it on the line for each other. They are there for each other on and off the court. We want to continue just to be more aggressive with the ball. Continue that ball movement that we're working on. Defensively, we've always been solid in that aspect. So our big thing is just moving that ball quicker, finding our open looks, and the girls being a little more. We always talk about you got to be a little selfish, and these girls are sometimes unselfish to a fault, where it's like, hey, yeah, you need to attack it, but that's one of those things we're continue to work on. Yeah, Coach. Your schedule. You guys have been the true road warriors here early part of the season. Holy cow! You have one more away game, and the rest of them are all at home. So that's going to be good to have some home cooking here. Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough go when you got 6 straight on the road, 3 weeks back to back of traveling to all these schools, and nothing's ever close. So it's an hour plus bus ride every time you turn around. And it just makes it tough, long bus rides there, and getting ready to go with school and everything else like that. It definitely takes a toll. It will be super nice here to kind of get a stretch of being at home and continue to battle with these teams.
Yeah, and Coach, you have Harbor Springs coming up next. Of course, aren't they the team that has the Flynn girl on it?
Yeah, Olivia is a phenomenal player. She signed with Western. She just scored her 2,000th point in her career just the other night. Really our job is just to try to contain as much as we can. We know she's going to get hers, so we really got to do our job of containing everyone else and trying to force it all onto her.
Yeah, Coach, on top of all the home games coming up, I think that Harbor Springs game we will be broadcasting.
Oh, good.
So you'll have all the magic of Chad Patterson echoing throughout the gym. Should be pretty good influence on the girls.
I love when he's there. It's always more exciting.
that it is, Dan. That it is for sure.
Not to Scotty. We love you too. Don't
yeah.
Don't leave Nicholas out of it.
Yeah, they do a great job for sure.
Oh, they do. Yep. They do.
Yep. Now it sounds like you're at the gym right now. You're running a little bit of girls youth program, or what do you got going on, Dan?
Yeah, I coach my daughter's youth travel team as well. So we're over in Alpena right now, battling versus Alpena with our girls took the first game. We're in a tough battle in game 2. So I just live in the gym. I might as well get a cot and start packing a bag and just taking it wherever I go.
Yeah, that's the way. I know, Coach. When you got kids and you're coaching, you're doing all that, man. It's a lot of gym.
I don't know if you can call a girls coach a gym rat. There's probably we got to come up with a different term.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and my son, he plays too, and he's actually over in Elk Rapids playing. So I wish I'd be able to catch his games, but with coaching my daughter's team right now, it would be her last year of me coaching the youth, and she'll be on the middle school squad. So it'd be nice to, let somebody else take over. I've been coaching her for the last 4 years, so it'd be nice to be able to just be a parent and watch the game for once.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, Dan, we appreciate you joining us on the Scoreboard Show. Continued success to the Lady Vikings, and we'll get caught back up with you here in a few weeks.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
All right. You too. Dan Brandt of the Grayling Vikings girls coach. I have a 9-5 record right now in a very good conference, and looking forward to some more success.
Yeah, as you pointed out, Rich, played almost their entire schedule on the road.
Crazy schedule.
Yeah, that's
6 road games in a row.
Really, really weird stuff. Yeah. But obviously their schedule is backloaded for a lot of home action, and
that's
as we
right.
said, we should be broadcasting a couple of those games coming up here real soon on 100.3.
And the Olivia Flynn going to one of your
Western
old schools at Western there.
I have no idea what the Western girls program is like at all. So, but it's D1. It's a MAC. So, that kudos to her. It's not surprising. I wonder if Michigan took a look at her. Michigan's got a really good, both Michigan and State have really good ladies programs, and not to denigrate it at all. I mean, 2,000 points is 1,400 more than mine.
No, it is phenomenal for sure.
But it's a good girls program, and it's not really senior laden.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's the very cool thing.
Yeah.
I mean, a freshman to be doing as well, and a sophomore brought up, and all that. So so they've got that good mix of a little bit of experience, but yes, some talented youth.
Yeah,
so,
that's
exciting.
Yeah, that's the best.
It is absolutely.
Just want to give a heads up to our sports listeners here. University of Michigan will play Rutgers at 3:00 here on Up North Sports Radio, and then for you late night hockey fanatics, the Wings are in Calgary. Taking on the Flames, and that game puck drops at 10 p.m.
Yep. So there, all your sports listening enjoyment.
The Wings are on a heater, and hopefully the Flames don't put that heater out.
That's exactly right. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show. We'll be right back here at 10 o'clock next Saturday. Thanks to Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
This has been the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford of Kalkaska and Gaylord for stress-free car shopping. Join us next Saturday at 10 with host Rich Calkins. Nobody loves high school sports like Up North Sports Radio.
See you early.
Josh, you mentioned it. I mean, no secret. It's going to be efficient in the prop market. It's going to be efficient in the total. It's going to be efficient